now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for attending today. So I'm just going to touch on a couple of brief points that have happened over the last couple of years. In 2006, Autodesk introduced the Autodesk student community, which offered free software for students and teachers for use out of the classroom. Earlier on this year, Autodesk made an announcement through President Obama that they were going to be part of the Design the Future program, which goes to make sure that any potential future user of Autodesk software or drafting and design software gets access as a student. For that program, they've introduced free software now for classroom use. And that's for all schools, colleges, and universities across North America. So if you want to flip to the next slide, Darren. So I'm just going to go over a couple of details. The slides are going to be available, as Christina said. She'll send out the recording to everybody. So all free education and student software is downloadable. So for students and faculty members, they go to the Autodesk student community. There they get access to 3-year licenses. And again, it's for students and faculty members. And this would be for on personal laptops or for teachers on their laptops. One major caveat to the introduction of the free software, which I don't know if we have anybody on the call today that would be affected by this, but the free software does not allow for any facilities management use, which facilities departments in the past had got access to educational licensing. So if there are any facilities people on the line, if you have any questions at the end, I'll be more than happy to address those. In the past, most of the schools on this call received activation and installation support through Synergy as part of a special package we'd worked out with with a local intermediate unit. With the new licensing, there is free support from Autodesk through a web portal. We'll continue to support schools and colleges, and that would be through one of our help desk packages, which we'll look at later on in the slideshow. Right now, I'm going to introduce Darren Green, who's been supporting most of you, as Christina said, for 7 years, and he'll show us how to get your software into the classroom. Darren?
Hello, everyone. This is Darren Green. So I am the lead product support specialist here at Synergis. Many of you guys have spoken to me over the last 7 years, as John and Christina pointed out. So just to give you guys a little background on myself, I come from a civil industry where I developed highways or designed highways, land development projects. Something that's close by here is the Allentown Alliance. So the Allentown Parkway bridge that spanned across the Lehigh, that was something that I worked on in the past. My primary responsibilities here at Synergis is to basically cover all civil platform applications, as well as building, licensing and deployments, and all education pretty much. So many of you guys have spoken to me, a lot of teachers, IT people, you know, I've spoken to many of you guys already, so this shouldn't be too long of a presentation. So I just wanted to cover some of the basics here. But also I am certified in AutoCAD, Revit Architecture, Inventor, as well as Civil 3D, but for a previous year I didn't do that for 2014. So let's go ahead and continue on here. So the first thing I want to talk about is preparation. So before you actually go up to the Autodesk website and create your login and get your serial number information, first thing you want to do is find out what products you need to install. Okay, because once you create an account, you know, the first one there is the Education Master Suite. So you can get a serial number for the Master Suite. However, you do not have that capability of downloading the entire Master Suite. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later here, but try to focus on, you know, key areas, because a teacher may only teach the building industry side, right? So they may use Revit, they may use AutoCAD MEP, AutoCAD Architecture. So in that case, you don't really need the master suite. So we want to think about these things before we actually go up and start getting these serial numbers and needing licenses and rolling the software out. So some of the specs that I've seen, well, I will say today I see a lot more customers or education customers with better machines than they had in the past. The one thing I wanted to point out was the graphics card information. You know, NVIDIA Quadro card with 2 gigs or more memory on that card is more than efficient for education. Students may not even, you know, use it that much where they would need a higher-end card. You know, but an NVIDIA Quadro card is something that we recommend. I'll work with you guys or your IT team in regards to that matter as well. Also, getting the latest drivers from the Autodesk website. So you may already have a good card, but you know, if you start experiencing issues within the products, go back and make sure you have the latest drivers from the Autodesk website. And that's the image there to the right. And we're going to talk about that as well. So the next thing is the processor. So processor is also a very important one because, you know, if you're using 3D content and you have a bunch of 3D things inside of that one file, well, it's using your processor to process that information as you rotate and pan around inside of your views, switching from model space to layout space, etc. So make sure you have a good processor. I recommend, you know, an i7 with a minimum of 2.4 gigs on that chip, or gigahertz. That's the speed there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the graphic card information. So where do you get this information? Where do you find these drivers to install on these machines? So I'm going to flip over here to a website. Actually, let's go to the Autodesk graphic website here. And there's something that's new this year. So Synergist, we don't typically recommend an entire system. We just recommend individual components. So graphics card, the processor, maybe even monitors for display purposes, and also RAM. So we recommend those type of things. We don't really recommend the entire system, but that doesn't mean that you can't give us a call and ask us for an opinion in regards to a system that you're looking into. Okay, but Autodesk on their website, if you notice here, there's an AutoCAD hardware advisor. Okay, so I can click this, and it's only giving you 2 options, AutoCAD and AutoCAD LT. So it's not really telling you much in regards to Revit or Inventor, those type of products, but you can get a good perspective on what you should actually purchase. Okay, so you know, you basically slide up your performance settings. If you're going to be doing a lot of 3D design, slide that all the way up there, 3D visualization. You know, I recommend doing this anyway, even if you're not using 3D, just so you can have a machine that's powerful enough for your needs. So after this is done, you could choose either a desktop or a laptop, whichever one you're using. So in this case, let's go ahead and choose desktop. So right on the Autodesk website, they give you these recommendations for machines. So you can go in, modify some of these machines, but it's giving you 16 gigs of memory, the hard drive, an NVIDIA Quadro card. So that's something that I just talked about on my last slide. So the K4000 card, that's a really nice card, actually. And it has 3 gigs of memory on that card. Right? And also it gives you some other recommendations as well. So that's something that you can look into. Just try it out for yourself, see if your system specs matches up with these. But let's go ahead and go back to the first page here. So where we select our hardware graphic drivers. So first we want to make sure we have the graphic hardware option checked. I always recommend using a higher product that you're going to install. So if you're going to use Inventor or Revit, you know, use those options in here. Okay, Revit is down there as well. Do not use AutoCAD because that's just the basics. Even though AutoCAD does use up a lot of your graphic cards or the memory on your cards, you know, it's best to use the highest product. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use Inventor just for people who are installing the entire master suite or product design suite. You know, this is one of the best options here. Okay. choose your version. So we can go all the way back to 2009 if we had to, or we can stay at just 2015, the most recent products. Okay, you want to choose your operating system and what vendor or manufacturer you want to get a driver for. So if you have an NVIDIA Quadro card, choose NVIDIA. Down here it's asking for, would you like to see all the drivers that they have on the site? Some of them are not recommended, some are certified. So always choose all. And then hit the Find button here. Under here it's going to give you a list of graphic cards. And then when you click on one of these cards, it'll expand out more information, letting you know that it is supported. Here's the driver version here, which you can check in your system specs to make sure you're at this specific driver version. The reason why I say that is because even though you may have a card that has a higher graphic card driver, so let's say it was 9.20 instead of 9.18. For this card, NVIDIA Quadro 600, that driver is not supported. I would install this one because this one is listed on their website and it is supported. So basically, in this case, you would downgrade to a 9.18 instead of the 9.20. Okay? Also, on this page, instead of choosing an individual product, we can go right to a design suite and choose one of these. Now, they do not have the education suite, but they have the entertainment creation suite, they have product design, and they also have building. So let's go ahead and choose building here and choose what edition we have for this suite. They don't have any 2015 yet. They just still on the 2014. I'm not sure why, but go ahead and choose the other settings here. Oops, forgot to choose graphics. Yeah, that's a key one, guys. Make sure you choose graphic hardware. All right, so let's go to NVIDIA, and I'm going to search. And this will give you all the cards that are certified for that entire suite package. So that is more important nowadays than it was in the past, because in the past we had to choose an individual product, and we would install so many different products such as Maya, 3ds Max, Motion Builder, you know, those entertainment creation suite, where some of these cards don't play well with the AutoCAD cards. So you really want to take a look at this, find out which suite you have, and if you have a certain suite that you downloaded and installed, make sure you go in there and find your drivers. All right, so let's go ahead back to our presentation. Now, there are some roadblocks when you install the Education Master Suite as well as the Design Academy. Okay, for the Master Suite, when you install the entire suite or any product within that suite, if Revit is included, the Revit INI file will be corrupted. So to get around this, what we need to do is make sure that we specify a custom Revit INI file here. Otherwise, once it's installed, no one will be able to get their content libraries or template files or even samples. You won't be able to see any of that information because it's missing. Okay? So what I've done was I installed it on my machine, I copied that INI file, and then within my deployment creation, I went in and specified custom Revit INI and browsed and imported that into my deployment. That way, when I go and do the install, it's there. Everyone is using the same thing. Okay? The next one is the Content Center libraries. So for Design Academy, the INI file is correct. However, for the Content Center libraries, they're just not installed. So there's a way around this, which revolves going into the INI file to set up that INI file prior to making your network deployment. And you have to add some pieces in here. So let's take a look at that. Let's go into here. And I'm going to go in here. So I'm not going to do this on the setup.ini file because I already have a network deployment here. So what I want to do is just go into my image INI file. I'm going to edit this. And if we scroll down here, we will see, actually, it's these three lines here. So the executable sequence, the install sequence, and the user interface sequence. So what's missing from this is the RCL. Okay, so the RCL is what tells the installer to install the content center libraries, or the content libraries for Revit, and that's here. So we want to make sure that's there right after the RBT 2015. And guys, if you're having trouble with this, feel free to give us a call if you have a help desk contract, or contact Autodesk if you don't, if you just have the free support, you know. But if you don't feel comfortable modifying this information, branch out to one of us, either Synergist or Autodesk, and then we can certainly get this configured for you and get your network deployment set up. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on. So the Education Master, that entire suite does not exist as a download today. Okay, unless you had subscription in the past and you purchased Education Master Suite and your subscription ended within the last month or so, I would say, you can log into Subscription Center and download the Master Suite, and you will have all those applications. Okay, but if you're just going up to the ARC website, you create that sign-in, you do not have an option to download the Master Suite. So keep that in mind. So again, on my previous slide, I said, make sure you know what products you're going to install. So the Education Master Suite have all of the products. So it has the entertainment creation, or I'm sorry, not entertainment. That's the only one that it doesn't have. But it has Revit, which comes from the building industry. It has Inventor, that comes from the manufacturing industry, and all the other products within those industries. So there's other choices that we can do to get around that. Let me here. Oops. Okay, so deploying these products. We had a question earlier today, John and I, and she wanted to know how do you put multiple deployments into a single deployment location. So this is possible from just specifying that same deployment location. So let's say we specified server or //server/ share and then /Autodesk. So this is coming from UNC Pathing Guide. So let's say this is our path. This is my network share, and this is my deployment shortcut. Now, if I wanted to add a building design suite deployment in here as well, and the entertainment creation suite, all I have to do is specify the same directory. And what's going to happen is the deployment will create all the files that are not listed in here. So if Navisworks Manage was in that deployment, it will create this folder, put all those files in that location. It's not going to overwrite anything. It's just going to add what's already missing, or it's going to add what's missing. All right? So you can merge multiple deployments into one location. AutoCAD, if you're downloading the individual components, you download AutoCAD, you create a network deployment. You download Revit, you create another network deployment in that same location. And that way, in this path here, you'll have two different shortcuts. You have one for AutoCAD, one for Revit. If you wanted to modify those deployments, all you have to do is come into Tools and then create Modify Deployment. And then within that setup, you'll have a drop-down to choose which deployment you want to modify. Okay. There's also another tool in here called Combined Deployments. This is used for configurations where you have 32-bit machines and 64-bit machines. We can create one shortcut that will determine what machine type that is. So if a 32-bit machine go up to that server and start the installer, it's going to install the 32-bit deployment. So it'll automatically determine that. Okay. So let's go ahead and back out of here. And I'm going to just close out of that. All right, so let's talk about the Autodesk Park website. So when you come in and you create a login, you want to specify your school, put in all your contact information, and Autodesk will send you an email to verify everything. Okay. After all that's done, you sign in. You're greeted with this page here that we see. Now, the first option again is Education Master Suite. The problem is, if you choose that, you'll have to download individual applications and install them one by one, even if you're doing a network deployment. So a network deployment will consist of each one of these, and you'll have all those shortcuts that you'll have to click on in order to install all those products. So a better way to get around this is to just scroll down, and we can go into a suite product. So if I know a teacher is going to teach all the building designs, I'm going to go ahead and get the building design suite, and that way I can download this entire suite and just have one shortcut that will install everything. Now, to get a serial number, make sure that you're using a network license. I always recommend this because there's so many machines in the school. You have up to 20 to 30 students in the class, maybe less. But instead of going around to each one of those machines and creating or trying to activate them, create a network deployment. That way, all your licenses are on a server, and all your users are just pointing to that server to get a license. And that way they can use the software that way. If you get a standalone, what will happen is after 4 or 5 activations, you'll have to call into Autodesk and get activation codes separately. So you have to tell them all the request codes that are there, which is a hex number, which is about 40 characters or so, 30 or 40 characters or so. So that would take a lot of time. And I know your IT team does not like to sit on the phone waiting for Autodesk to pick up. That's a long wait time on their phones because there's so many people requesting these licenses. So make sure you choose network license here. And the way you know that network license is selected is if it's blue. If that link is blue, that means, okay, I have a network license now. Put in the seats that I need or the seat count that I need, and then I click Get My License. And then it will produce a serial number that I can use during my installation process. All right. Now, how do you know, what the teacher is going to use? And like if you're an IT person, how would you know that? So send out an email, find out. I know school starts in the next, 2-3 weeks from now. So I know you guys are trying to get this software installed and make sure everything is working correctly for when, the teacher gets in there and start utilizing the software. But, I would make sure you reach out to them as soon as possible. If you haven't already, tried, do it today, because now that you know that you can download these packages versus individual components or individual products. Right? Let's see. If you need a license file, if you have support with Synergist, what you can do is just send us your serial number. You also want to send us your MAC address, which can be found through, command prompt. Right. And that would be, it's my wireless, this is my LAN connection, so that would be this. So my physical address, that is my MAC address. So send this along. You don't need this, the IP address. All we need is the MAC address and as well as your computer name. And send that to John McCartan or your account manager, and they will certainly get you a license file. If you do not have support with Synergist, you can still send it to us, but it may take a little bit longer to look up your account information because, again, you guys are all getting the software for free through Autodesk, so they have all your serial numbers. They have all the rights to accessing your accounts. So, you can go to the Autodesk website and give Autodesk a call. I did not include that in my presentation, but I'll put that in, and when Christina sends that out to you guys, you'll have it. All right, so next thing here is getting support. So how do we get support in regards to this free model that Autodesk is giving out to education customers? And basically, you would go into Contact Us, and then you would basically put in your email address, your name, and select one of these options here, and then type out the issue that you're having and submit that to Autodesk. Autodesk will gather that information and give you guys a call back. Most of the time, they're interacting with you through email, so it's just exchanging emails, and their response time is between 24 hours or 1 day to 3 days for standard support. If it's a critical issue, they promise up to a day. So that's something that I would definitely consider going into the website, making sure that you have or where all this information is, especially your teachers as well as the IT people, because the IT person not around, the teachers need to know this. So this is here, guys, so just take a look. And that said, let's go back into our, I don't know why I can't see this. Nope. Okay, so I think I'm having a little technical issues here. Sorry, guys, bear with me for a minute. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so let's go back to our presentation. Okay, so make sure you use the network deployments when setting up the machines and to deploy them out to all your classrooms. The reason why is because you get consistent configurations. So all the service packs you download for these products, it'll be on everyone's machine. You don't have to visit them later. Again, we can install onto multiple machines at once, and we can also create multiple deployments in the same location. So that's really all that I have. Again, if you guys have any questions, I would like to try to answer them while we're on this web session, and that way we can, help out everyone at the same time during this session instead of, me ramming on or whatever. So.
There is one question right now, Dee. It says, can I deploy the software through an image to an entire lab?
Can he deploy software through an image? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I understand. Say that again?
It says, can I deploy the software through an image to an entire lab?
Yes. So if you create a network deployment into a share, you can walk around to, I would do up to 5 to 10 machines at a time. And then you just run the installer and just walk away. And when those 10 are done, go to the next 10 machines, double-click the shortcut, and have them install. If you do more than that, what will happen is it'll start going really slow because everybody is going to that same deployment at the same time. So that's something why that's the reason we say to limit that amount of access.
Okay. If you do have any questions, I don't see any other ones right now. I'll let John finish his slides, and then we'll ask for some more.
Okay, so you want to go through that? Okay, thanks, Darren. So one thing to add on to what Darren was talking about as far as the downloading the media, one option, if you wanted to purchase physical media, the media for the Education Master Suite is available for $60. And if you're interested in that, you can certainly contact me and I can help you out with that. So just to go on a little bit more, so with the free software, why are we still supporting schools? Well, we know that teachers are probably teaching more than just Autodesk applications and other technologies, so your life doesn't revolve around Autodesk software. Ours does. And we can help you answer any technical questions, whether it's coming from a teacher. We know the IT people are really busy, so if you need our assistance with any type of installation or technical question, we can help you out with that. And some of the different options for our help desk are available on the next slide if you want to click that over, Darren. So one of the main option that a lot of our schools have been purchasing this year have been the help desk support contract, which gives you telephone support between the hours of 9 and 5, Monday through Friday. And that's a 1-year contract. It's $1,200. And like I said, that'll give you technical support for any type of question, whether it is a teacher wanting to know, hey, why is my interface changed, or where did this menu go to any type of installation questions. And then there's a couple of other options outlined on there. We can come out to your school to do the installation for you. Darren's also developed a program where he'll do the installation remotely. So we'll just do that installation from Darren's desk. Do you want to flip to the next slide, Darren? So one thing that we like to do is we have a portal on our website that sharing student work. So if you guys have any type of drawings that you think are really good, you can certainly send those to either myself or to Christina, and we'll make sure that those go up on our website.
Next.
So throughout the year, we typically host a whole bunch of free sessions. If there was anything that you guys were interested in attending, you can register either through our website, or again, you can contact me directly and I can help you register. The one event that we do host annually that is not free is Synergist University, but I can typically get teachers' passes to that event. You want to flip over, Darren?
Okay, we're back to the questions. So we did have a couple more come in. So in regards to the last question about imaging an entire lab, Darren, I had a follow-up as part of the operating system deployment using Ghost software. So he's asking about using Ghost software for the deployment.
Yes, you can use Ghost software. So the key about a Ghost software, creating an image from Ghost, you want to make sure you don't open the products first, and that's only if you have standalone installs. So if you install the software as a standalone version, meaning that it's going to use standalone license, you cannot open the software prior to creating that image. So create the image, open the software, make sure everything works, and then deploy it. To save you a lot of time. If you have network licensing, then it's fine for you to go ahead and open the software, check things out before building that image and rolling it out to your team, through group policies or even an image, as well as SCCM.
Okay. We did get a question about can we get the download website. So the download website is really easy. Just go to students.autodesk.com and all three options will come up. It'll come up for if you want software for an educator, for a student, or for a school. Very easy. You just click on the one that you need and then you just follow the directions that that Darren had just showed you. So, and like I said, the recording will come out, so if you need to see any of that stuff again, it will be available to you. I have another question that says, will we be able to get licensing files for older versions?
So I can answer.
Yes. So you can actually go down into your, the list and select the 2014 version, 13, or 12. You can't go beyond that unless you actually purchase software other than the education software. John, is there anything you want to add there? Or?
Nope, I think you got it covered, Darren. So the software available on the website is the current version, plus they'll give you access to 3 versions back.
Also, you guys are not limited to the 125 seats. You can actually request more. So if you need more, you can get it anytime. All right, so whenever you do request additional seats, you will have to get a new license file. So again, contact John or Autodesk, or even percentage of support, and we can generate that license for you.
Okay.
Now, there's one other thing that I wanted to say real quick. On the manage.autodesk.com website, for some schools, for facilities, I believe, they're getting software on term licensing or rental licenses. Okay, when you do that, you have to go into manage.autodesk.com to give users access to, let me just sign out here. You have to give users access to use that software, because after the install is complete, it'll prompt and ask you for your username and password to sign into the Autodesk website or Autodesk 360, and then it will validate the manage.com website and make sure that you're a part of that group who can actually use that software. So doing that is basically inside of your user there. But, go into Access, you'll have a bunch of products there. Check the box that says Assign, and there's also another one along the top for product support. Okay, I'll try to put that in the slides as well so you guys can have it. But I had to close out of it because it was showing some account information. So let's move on. Any more questions?
Oh, yeah. Do the students have to download from the school, or can they access from the web? So again, if you go to that students.autodesk.com, the students all download their own software at home. They'll get their own serial number. It will not affect the school software whatsoever. It'll be completely different. If I do not upgrade from the 2014, is it still supported?
Yes, 2014 is still supported. So the current version, which is 2015, back 3 versions to 2012, is still supported.
Okay, and then he said,
Next year, 2012 will fall off.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Will he need to put a new license on his licensing server?
So if you have a 2014 license already and it's set to permanent, you don't have to worry about getting a new license. Okay, so for if you need 2015 and you want to install that product, then yes, you will have to generate a new license file. So all the licenses on here that you're getting, it's for 3 years. It's not for, actually, I believe it's 3 years.
Yep.
So let's go back to, so 3-year education license. So you shouldn't have to worry for, 3 more years, unless you're planning to upgrade.
Okay. Will the students' home-loaded software still have restrictions, or will they be able to move files from school to home?
No, they should be able to move files from school to home. Again, that's pretty much what the software is for students. For students to work on projects at home, through online classes. I'm in school. I go to Delaware County Community College. So, I'm always using software from the school, submitting my work, and Autodesk does not put any restrictions there. In the past, they used to have a watermark that said education, so they took that away. So that's a good sign.
Okay, I have a couple people with their hands up, so I'm not sure if they still want to ask a question. But Adam, if you're there, I'm going to unmute your, nope, how about Anna? I'm going to unmute your line, Anna. Are you there? Oh, nothing. And I just got a couple of notes that their questions were answered. So I am going to, I think we'll end there and see, I don't see anything else coming in. However, if you do come up with a question, feel free to reply back to that follow-up email that I'll send the recording and the slides in. The slides will be available so that you can click on all the links and get all the links and the information that you need. But if you have any other questions, feel free to reply back to us. I'll also include John and Darren's information so that you can reach out if you need them. But other than that, thank you so much for joining us and have a great day.
Thanks very much, everybody.